But let's turn now to Capitol Hill, where the House of Representatives would not be holding votes today as originally planned. Republican leadership canceled them over a divisive elections-related bill being aggressively pushed by President Trump. Just days ago, the president abruptly canceled a signing ceremony for a bipartisan housing affordability bill. He said he will not sign the legislation into law until Congress passes the Save America Act, which would alter how Americans vote in federal elections. Let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, House Speaker Mike Johnson and President Trump met yesterday afternoon, and afterwards the speaker said they're, quote, on exactly the same page. Question, Aaron, has the Speaker of the House of Representatives ever said that they're not on the same page with the President of the United States? That's a joke. Yeah, so why are the votes canceled today?
Yeah, I can't remember a single time, especially in this term. Well, there are hardliners in the House Republican caucus that have caused Mike Johnson headaches before and seem to be doing so again, because they are saying now that they will block any legislative action that comes to the House floor as long as the Senate does not pass what's known as the Save America Act. That's that big election bill that President Trump is pushing that would require proof of citizenship as well as photo ID in order to vote. Now, the House has passed versions of this bill on their own in the past, but they're waiting on the Senate, and you're seeing some members, Representatives Anna Paulina Luna, Ralph Norman, essentially trying to put pressure on the other chamber to move this bill forward, despite Senate Majority Leader John Thune saying repeatedly they do not have the numbers to do so. Now, what's at hold here are priorities of the White House, relief packages for agricultural producers, that over $80 billion budget request for the Pentagon that we saw earlier this week. So while the president has been pushing for the Save America Act, you're seeing that backfire a bit with these House Republican hardliners. And the president said on Truth Social yesterday that Republicans should unify and said, quote, no more grandstanding, please.
Aaron, let's talk about that testing meeting that the president had earlier this week. He was meeting with Senate Republicans and Bill Cassidy, the senator from Louisiana, who the president helped oust, who basically the president helped end Mr. Cassidy's career after this term, had a shouting match with the president, as we've been reporting. He sat down with our Margaret Brennan in an exclusive interview. What did you take from that interview, specifically in regards to why the senator changed his vote on the War Powers Resolution?
Yeah, that shouting match was about the war with Iran, and Senator Cassidy of Louisiana essentially said to President Trump that your administration has not told the public enough information on why we are still in this war. And there was also anger from President Trump, as you mentioned, about Cassidy's vote on an earlier War Powers resolution that he voted for this week. But Cassidy said after his shouting match with President Trump that he had a private briefing on the latest with the Iran war with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Vice President Vance, and essentially said that relayed his concerns about what the public is hearing. Take a listen to what he told Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan.
What did you hear that changed your mind?
So if the original objections were to destroy, degrade, if you will, Iran's nuclear capability, their ability to do a ballistic missile, and their conventional warfare capability, and we were supposed to be out of there in 4 to 5 weeks, with maybe a little bit of a sprinkling of regime change. That's how it came across. The regime change is off the table. That doesn't seem as if that's going to happen. But it does seem as if the way they laid it out, the other 3 objectives can be reached. And with those other 3 objectives, now we have to trust but verify, but as they laid it out, they have a plausible plan by which to achieve those, and that's what I was interested in.
You wanted to get the details on the diplomacy.
Correct.
Now, Cassidy sided with other senators to block a different but similar War Powers resolution that would limit President Trump's military powers, as he and other senators say that they believe the administration when they say that the military operations with Iran are over, and that potentially voting to limit the president's powers, even if it's symbolic, would undermine the current U.S.-Iran negotiations.
All right, Aaron, I don't know, there's that key moment in The Godfather where Michael Corleone describes his father, Don Corleone, meeting with a band leader and giving the band leader a choice. It strikes me, I kid. But Aaron, there's the book out by Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan, which in their reporting suggests that many times there have been questions about the strategy that the president or those around him want to undertake, specifically as it relates to foreign policy, specifically as it relates to the war in Iran. And almost every time going against not the admonitions, but the suggestions of people who understand the region and who understand the geopolitics, the things that they've hoped for, the administration have not come to bear. So we'll see what happens in this case. But I guess Cassidy found what he was looking for and then voted in, decided to not vote for that War Powers Resolution Act. Aaron Navarro for us at the White House. Aaron, thank you.
Take care.